Do you sit down to relax and immediately feel like you're doing something wrong? Do you watch a movie and the entire time a voice in your head whispers, "You should be working, you're wasting time, you're being lazy"? Do you take a nap and wake up feeling not refreshed but guilty, like you just committed a crime? And do you look around at other people who rest without guilt, who take breaks without shame, who relax without apologizing, and you think, "What's wrong with me? Why can't I just be?" If this is you, I need you to hear something. You're not lazy, you're not broken. You have 5 rare traits that only a certain type of person develops, and those traits, they came from your childhood. So today we're going to talk about the 5 rare traits of people who feel guilty for resting. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why you are the way you are. And maybe you'll finally give yourself permission to rest. Let's go. Before we dive into the 5 traits, let me explain something. Feeling guilty for resting is not normal. I know it feels normal to you because you've felt this way your entire life. But most people, they rest without guilt. They take a day off and enjoy it. They watch TV without thinking about their to-do list. They sleep in on a Saturday and wake up feeling good, not you. You rest and your brain punishes you for it. It tells you, you don't deserve rest. You haven't earned it. You're being selfish. And here's the thing. That voice, it's not your voice, it's the voice of someone from your past. Maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your dad, maybe it's a teacher or a coach, but somewhere along the way you learned that rest is not a right, it's a reward, and you have to earn it. And if you rest without earning it, you're lazy, you're worthless, you're failing. So you developed 5 traits to survive in that world. And those traits, they're rare, they're powerful, and they're destroying your ability to be human. So let's talk about 1. You have a hyper-developed sense of responsibility. Let me ask you something. When you're resting, do you think about all the things you should be doing? The laundry, the emails, the errands, the projects. And even if those things can wait, even if they're not urgent, you feel responsible. You feel like if you don't do them, something bad will happen. If this is you, it's because you grew up with a hyper-developed sense of responsibility. And here's why that's rare. Most people can compartmentalize. They can say, "That's a problem for Monday. Right now I'm resting." But you can't compartmentalize because when you were a child, you were taught that your job was to hold everything together. Maybe you were the oldest sibling and your parents made you responsible for your younger sibling. Maybe your parent was depressed or overwhelmed and you became the emotional caretaker. Maybe your family was chaotic and you were the one who made sure everything ran smoothly. So you learned, if I don't do it, no one will. And now, even as an adult, even when no one is depending on you, you feel responsible for everything. Rest feels like abandoning your post. Rest feels like letting people down, so you don't rest. Or if you do rest, you feel guilty because your brain says, "Who do you think you are? Taking a break when there's so much to do?" But here's the truth. That hyper-developed sense of responsibility, it's not a flaw. It's a survival skill. It kept you safe as a child. It helped you navigate chaos. It made you reliable, dependable, trustworthy, but now it's keeping you trapped because you're still living like that child who had to hold everything together, and you're not that child anymore. You don't have to be responsible for everything, but your nervous system doesn't know that yet. Trait 2, you equate your worth with your productivity. Here's a question. Do you feel like you're only valuable when you're doing something? Like your worth is tied to your output? Like if you're not producing, you're not worthy? If yes, you have the second rare trait. You equate your worth with your productivity. And here's why that's rare. Most people know they have value just by existing, but you learned that your value is conditional, and it's conditional on what you do, not who you are. Maybe when you were a kid, your parents only praised you when you got good grades, or when you won the game, or when you cleaned your room. But when you just existed, when you played, when you rested, you were invisible. Or worse, you were criticized. Why are you just sitting there? Go do something productive. Stop being lazy. So you learned, I am only lovable when I'm useful. And now as an adult, you can't rest because rest makes you feel worthless. You sit down to watch TV and your brain says, you're wasting your life. You take a day off and your brain says, you're falling behind. You sleep in and your brain says, you're lazy, you're a failure. And so you push. You work, you produce, you achieve, because that's the only way you feel like you matter. I remember talking to a woman who told me she took a Saturday off for the first time in months. No work, no errands, just rest. And by noon, she was crying on her couch because she felt like she'd wasted half the day. That's how deep this conditioning goes. But here's what you need to hear. Your worth is not tied to your productivity. You are not a machine. You are a human being, and human beings have value simply because they exist. You don't have to earn the right to rest. You don't have to prove that you deserve a break. You are allowed to be unproductive. You are allowed to do nothing, and you are still worthy. But your brain doesn't believe that yet, because it's running an old program, a program that says you are only as valuable as what you produce. And until you reprogram that belief, rest will always feel like a threat to your worth. Before we continue, if this video is resonating with you, I want you to know something. You're not alone. Millions of people feel guilty for resting. And on this channel, we explore the hidden patterns, the childhood wounds, and the psychology behind why you are the way you are. So if you want more videos like this, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below telling me, which of these traits do you relate to most? Because I read every single comment. All right, let's keep going. Trait 3, you have an unusually high tolerance for burnout. Here's something most people don't realize. If you feel guilty for resting, it's because you have an unusually high tolerance for burnout. Let me explain. Most people hit a wall. They work hard and then their body says, "That's enough, I need rest." And they listen, they take a break, they recharge. But you've learned to ignore it. You keep pushing, even when you're exhausted, even when your body is screaming, "Stop." You keep going because somewhere in your childhood you learned that stopping was dangerous. Maybe your parent was unpredictable and the only way to stay safe was to stay useful. So you learned, if I stop being useful, I'll be abandoned. Or maybe your parent was critical and the only way to avoid criticism was to be perfect. Or maybe your family was struggling financially and you saw your parents work themselves to exhaustion and you learned, rest is a luxury and we can't afford luxuries. So you developed an unusually high tolerance for burnout. Research shows that chronic stress actually rewires the brain's reward system, making exhaustion feel normal and rest feel threatening. You learned to push past exhaustion, past pain, past your limit. And now, you don't even know when you're tired anymore. You've been running on empty for so long that empty feels normal. And the scary part? You're proud of it. You wear it like a badge of honor. I only slept 4 hours last night. I haven't taken a day off in 6 months, and people praise you for it. They call you strong, resilient, hardworking. But here's the truth. High tolerance for burnout is not a strength. It's a trauma response. It's your body staying in survival mode long after the threat is gone. And the longer you stay in that mode, the more damage you're doing. Because burnout doesn't just make you tired. It makes you numb, disconnected, irritable, empty, and eventually, it breaks you. So if you're someone who can push through anything, if you're someone who never stops, I need you to hear this. That's not a superpower. That's a wound, and it's time to heal it. Trait 4, you're a perfectionist who believes rest is weakness. Let me ask you something. Do you have impossibly high standards for yourself? Do you feel like anything less than perfect is failure? And do you see rest as a sign of weakness? If yes, you have the 4th rare trait. You're a perfectionist who believes rest is for weak people. And here's why that's rare. Most perfectionists are perfectionists about work, but you're a perfectionist about life. You believe you should be able to do everything, work full-time, take care of your family, exercise, eat healthy, keep a clean house, maintain friendships, pursue hobbies, and never feel tired. And if you do feel tired, you think, what's wrong with me? Why am I so weak? Let me tell you where this comes from. When you were a child, you probably had a parent who was either a perfectionist themselves or critical of any sign of struggle. So you learned, struggling equals weakness, and weakness was not tolerated. Maybe you cried and your parents said, "Stop being a baby." Or you got tired and they said, "Everyone else can handle this. Why can't you?" Or you made a mistake and they said, "I expected better from you." So you learned, I have to be perfect, and perfect people don't need rest. And now you see rest as a character flaw. You see people who rest and you think, they're weak, they're lazy. And when you rest, you feel like you're betraying yourself, like you're proving that you're not strong enough. But here's the truth. Rest is not weakness. Rest is biology. Your body was designed to need rest. Your brain requires downtime to function. And when you don't rest, you're not being strong. You're being reckless. You're running your body into the ground. And eventually, it will break. So if you're a perfectionist who sees rest as weakness, I need you to reframe it. Rest is not weakness. Rest is maintenance. It's how you stay strong. It's how you sustain performance. And refusing to rest, that's not discipline. That's self-sabotage. Trait 5, you're deeply empathetic and feel others' needs before your own. Here's the 5th trait, and this one might be the most painful. If you feel guilty for resting, it's because you're deeply empathetic. You feel other people's needs before your own. Let me explain. Most people have a hierarchy of needs. Their own needs come first, then other people's needs. But your hierarchy is reversed. Other people's needs come first, and your needs, they come last, or not at all. So when you're resting, you think, who needs me right now? Who am I letting down by resting? Who could I be helping instead? And even if no one needs you, even if everyone around you is fine, you still feel guilty because you've been conditioned to believe that your needs are selfish. Here's where this comes from. When you were a child, you probably grew up in a home where someone was always in crisis. Maybe your parent was emotionally unstable and you became the emotional regulator. Or maybe your sibling was sick and you became the invisible child. Or maybe your family was struggling and you learned, my needs are a burden, so you stopped having needs. You became the caretaker, the helper, the one who puts everyone else first. And now as an adult, you can't rest because rest feels selfish. You sit down and your brain says, what about your mom? She's lonely. You should call her. What about your friend? She's struggling. You should check on her. What about your kids? They need you. And even if all of those people are fine right now, you still can't relax because your nervous system is scanning for someone who needs you, because that's when you feel safe, when you're needed, not when you're resting. But here's what you need to hear. Your needs are not selfish. You are not responsible for everyone else's well-being, and you are allowed to put yourself first. Not sometimes, always, because if you don't, you will burn out, and then you won't be able to help anyone. So let's talk about what's actually happening in your brain. When you rest and feel guilty, your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, is being triggered. It's saying, danger, you're resting, that's not safe. And your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain, tries to say, wait, there's no danger, resting is good. But your amygdala is louder because it's been trained by years of conditioning to associate rest with danger. Neuroscience shows that repeated stress patterns actually strengthen these fear pathways, making the amygdala hypersensitive to any perceived threat, including rest. Maybe rest meant your parent would get angry, or rest meant you'd be criticized, or rest meant you'd fall behind. So your brain learned rest equals threat, and now every time you rest, your nervous system goes into fight or flight mode. It floods your body with cortisol, and you feel anxious, guilty, restless, like something bad is about to happen. But here's the good news. Your brain can be retrained. You can teach your amygdala. Rest is safe, but it takes time and it takes practice. So let's talk about how. 3 action steps, how to rest without guilt. Here are 3 steps to start resting without guilt. Step 1, name the voice. The next time you rest and you hear that voice saying, you're lazy, you're wasting time, stop and ask yourself, whose voice is that? Is it your mom's voice? Your dad's voice? A teacher's? A coach's? Because I guarantee it's not your voice. Once you name the voice, you can separate from it. You can say, that's my mom's voice, not mine, and I don't agree with her. Step 2, schedule rest like an appointment. If you feel guilty resting, it's because rest feels you earn, so earn it. Put it on your calendar. Sunday, 4 p.m., rest, and treat it like a doctor's appointment. Non-negotiable, because when rest is scheduled, your brain accepts it. It's not lazy, it's planned. Step 3, practice useless rest. This is the hardest one. Most people who feel guilty resting only rest if it's productive, like, I'll watch TV, but only educational shows, or I'll take a walk because exercise is productive. But that's not rest. That's disguised work. True rest is useless. It serves no purpose except to be, so practice it. Sit on your couch, do nothing, stare at the ceiling, and when your brain screams, this is a waste of time, say, good. That's the point. So here's what I want you to remember. If you feel guilty for resting, you're not lazy, you're not broken. You have 5 rare traits. A hyper-developed sense of responsibility. You equate your worth with productivity. You have an unusually high tolerance for burnout. You're a perfectionist who sees rest as weakness. You're deeply empathetic and put others first. And those traits? They came from your childhood. They kept you safe, but now they're keeping you trapped. So it's time to let them go. Not all at once, but slowly, one rest at a time. And I want you to know, you are allowed to rest. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to deserve it. You are a human being, and rest is your birthright. So take it, without apology, without guilt, and without shame. If this video helped you, leave a comment below. Tell me, which of the 5 traits do you relate to most? I'll be reading every comment. And if you want more videos like this, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next one. You've got this.